naturally quiet people and build confidence being themselves and connecting with people in spite of having social anxiety. I help them to create a disciplined, positive lifestyle and to thrive. So, how do you build self-confidence? So, it's about two things. Firstly, it's about what you're doing. And secondly, it's about what you're not doing. So I'll start with what you're not doing. It takes a lot of bravery and courage to do less. To not cave into pressure. This is the key to what you're not doing. And what you're not doing is reacting to perceived external pressure. So, for example, if I was really nervous right now and lacking confidence, I'd be thinking, I can't have a sip of coffee while doing this live stream. What will people think? I'm taking up their time by having the coffee. Can't be doing that. Worrying, panicking, and it's the tendency to try and please other people. To put yourself last, put everybody else first. I like being a kind person, and that's fine. But the place it comes from is the most important thing. If you're being nice out of fear and you're trying to butter people up to protect yourself, that's when it comes from a lack of confidence. And it doesn't lead to more confidence. Feeling like you owe somebody something, that doesn't lead to confidence either. But choosing to give to other people and choosing to be kind, this is completely different. I never liked the term nice guy because it's very misleading and there's different connotations. I like to view three different types of people. Good people, bad people, and nice people. And this is a simplification, but the way that I see it is fake niceness doesn't come from real self-confidence. It's manipulative, and this is where you're not genuinely being a good person. You're really being nice because you want to protect yourself or you want something back. It comes from an insecurity, which is a belief that you're not enough and you're not safe right now. The belief that you're not enough, this is where non-confident behavior comes from. People panic and they think, I'm not enough as I am right now, so I'm going to have to put this mask on. I'm going to have to try and please other people. The alternative belief is that you're already enough. Just as you are, at the core level, you're enough. So therefore, you don't need to overdo things. Do less. Just turn up, be yourself, without the extras, without the flashiness. No need to try and impress other people. No need to try and prove your worth and show your value. Showing off and bragging. Could this be confident or not confident? I personally think it depends on another person's personality type. So if somebody is showing off and bragging because they want to prove their worth, look how amazing I am. I hope everybody sees this. I hope people can see the suit that I'm wearing, the designer shoes, the posh car that I drive. That comes from insecurity and trying to create an image of yourself that's going to please other people and affect how they treat you. What if that person didn't have those designer goods and they drove a Skoda, not to diss Skodas? So this individual, would they still be confident and believe in themselves without the extras? If the answer is no, then to me that isn't confidence. But if that person would still feel like they're enough, stripped of all that materialistic stuff, then that would be genuinely confident. But then to completely be a hypocrite and completely contradict myself, there's people out there whose personality type is that they really enjoy putting on a show, they enjoy being seen, and it just feels good for them. And I believe that if that showing off behavior feels good and it feels natural for somebody, then that's them being themselves. And I can relate to that because when I was younger, I was really into magic. I loved magic tricks, and whenever it was like Christmas, birthday, my parents would get me a different trick. It would be ones where you chop a carrot, but it looks like you're chopping your finger off. Card tricks, disappearing tricks, so much different stuff. And I really enjoyed the trick. I enjoyed performing the trick because I knew that there was going to be a point where people reacted in a certain way, and I quite enjoyed seeing the reaction. In the same way, I still enjoy humor and stand-up comedy, and it's the same idea. It's a setup, and people are expecting something, but then what gets delivered is something completely different. So I enjoyed that, and I wasn't doing magic tricks or telling jokes to try and impress other people. But of course, I wanted them to enjoy themselves. I wanted people to laugh, but I wasn't doing it for that reason. I just genuinely enjoyed it. So showing off and bragging, it's not necessarily, it doesn't mean that someone's confident or not confident. It's all about the reason why you're doing it, why you're behaving in the way you're currently behaving. And if the reason is because you're afraid, I don't want to face the self-judgment of other people. What if people reject me? What if I get a negative response? What if I just don't connect with somebody and I trip over my words, make a mistake, people laugh at me? What if I get picked on? What if someone takes advantage of me? And there's all that worry, that pressure, and those fears. If you're desperately trying to avoid those fears, you might choose to shut yourself down, be closed off to the world, and not really be that self-confident. And self-confidence is about believing in yourself. But self-confidence is not the same as arrogance, in my opinion. I've heard people say things like, there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. And I actually disagree with this personally. So my view is that arrogance comes from the ego, and it's about comparing yourself to other people. Thinking that you're somehow better than other people because of this reason or that reason. I actually think this comes from a lack of confidence. Other people are triggering you. You feel insecure. And then suddenly the arrogant person thinks, well, I'm better than this person in these ways. But here's the thing. If you was truly self-confident and you believe you was enough already, you wouldn't feel threatened by other people and react in that way where now you've got to put on a display and get into the ego. So what helps out a lot of my clients who are building confidence, speaking to people, is realizing that no one's better than anybody else. I'm not better than any other person. I'm not above my clients. I'm not above my friends. And also, at the same time, they're not above me. We have equal value at a core level. And this just helps take pressure off people. And I've never met a person who honestly likes the idea of a hierarchy, likes the idea of a ladder where people are better than other people. And of course, there's career ladders out there, and some people are going to have more skill in a certain situation. They've got more experience, or maybe they have more natural ability in that situation. So they might have more value than you in that situation. But outside of that situation, on a pure human level, you're both equal. Doesn't matter if someone plays the role of your boss at work or you play the role of someone else's boss. Outside of that, if you are having a one-to-one chat in the park, you're both equally valuable. So believing in yourself doesn't mean thinking you're better than other people. And believing in yourself can actually help you to also believe in other people, and vice versa. When you start to recognize the strengths in other people, you don't compare yourself to them and think, this person is better than me or I'm better than them. Instead, you're happy that they have their set of natural strengths. And you can also learn to appreciate your own as well. A great analogy that a client taught to me in a session that I really liked was that just like there's different breeds of dogs out there, you have Labradors, Chihuahuas, Greyhounds, such variety. There's also different breeds of humans. And different breeds have different natural strengths. So some people, they're really analytical. They're fantastic at board games, puzzles, amazing knowledge, patterns, recognition. When it comes to anything analytical, they're wired in such a way where it's just natural to them. Like a fish in water, they're in their element and they're thriving because they're brilliant at that. And I think that's awesome. They're meant to be great at what they're great at. There's other people. So in my case, I come from a naturally quiet background. But what I'm really good at, I'm good at helping other people out, and I can think deeply. So lots of quiet people, they're very introspective. They spend a lot of time contemplating, thinking about themselves and life, and they can go really, really, really deep. More focused on emotions, connection, other stuff. So I have my natural strengths. Some people are very, very extroverted and they're fantastic at performing. They can't think as deeply as the introverts can. But when it comes to surface level, they're amazing. They're so fast. They can be so witty and they just love talking and love being the center of attention. So there's such a variety of different kinds of people out there. And it's really helpful to know that just because somebody is different than you, it doesn't mean that you're somehow better than them. And it doesn't mean that they're somehow better than you, just different. And there's nothing wrong with different. You're meant to be different. They're meant to be different. A lot of people that have come to my events, when they've opened up, they've said that they've spent their whole life feeling like an alien, feeling like they can't connect with anybody. They ask themselves questions like, why am I so different? How come all these other people just connect so well and I'm struggling to connect? And this is really, really, really common. But the crazy thing is, you're not seeing behind the scenes of other people's lives. You might think that everybody else in your life has everything together. It's all going great because on the surface, it appears that way. But one of the privileged benefits that I'm very lucky to have from being a coach is that I get to see behind the scenes. What are people really thinking? What are they really struggling with? And you start to realize that lots of people are struggling with the same things, but some people just choose to respond in a different way. There's a bit of a stigma about talking about mental health challenges, personal struggles, especially for guys, but also for women as well. And they can feel that if they display their emotions and vulnerabilities, it's going to be seen as weakness. People are going to prey on that weakness, so it makes them feel vulnerable. And also, because people rarely share how they're actually feeling, most people just say, yeah, I'm fine, yeah, I'm okay, but never really expand beyond that. It's like a robot answer rather than a deep and real answer. Because of this, people can buy into the illusion that it's only them that feels the way that they do. And it's so hard if you feel alone in feeling the way that you feel. If you feel isolated and feel that it's not okay and it's somehow wrong to be feeling what you're feeling. But when you can get that out there, tell other people that I'm feeling nervous today. I feel kind of weird right now. I feel insecure about this. I was a bit angry this morning, but I've overcome the anger. When people are really, really honest, everybody relates. And I've seen this happen so much at my events where there's like 50, 60 people in a cafe, and people are sharing different challenges that they're facing, things they've overcome. And it hits home for every single person. Everybody relates. I remember a guy that came to my last event. He was talking about challenges that he had with his dad, and saying that, it really affects him on a day-to-day basis. It makes him feel angry. He feels ignored, not listened to, not important, all these things. And I asked people in the room to put their hands up if they currently have a challenge with one or more of their parents. And 80% of the room put their hands up. Super, super, super common to have challenges with your parents. But this guy didn't know it was normal. He thought, is it just me that has these challenges? And as soon as he realized that, wow, this whole room of people, they're all struggling in this same area of life, maybe I can be kinder to myself because it's not just me. It's actually normal. So open communication really heals people because you realize that, they feel just like me. We're not cut from a different cloth. Sure, there is different types of people, as I said before, but you can still connect and understand, and the human experience is the human experience. And the great thing about it is it's very universal. Another great thing about it is that you can improve your experience of life. Even if you're currently going through a terrible time, you feel awful, you feel stressed out, you're panicking, and you feel depressed, and anxiety, all these things. Don't think that this is a permanent state. It's not the case. I've been through depression and anxiety in the past, um, really for about 4 years, partly in high school, then into college. Depression, anxiety. I was not in a good place at all back then. And it's because I was isolating myself from other people. I was closed off. I didn't know how to have conversations. I really thought that there was something wrong with me. Have I got some kind of condition? So I was such a loner. And I remember that I had 2 years where I was borderline mute. I would say 1 to 2 words a day, but never actually have a conversation. I didn't know how to connect with people. And I learned this when I moved to university over quite a period of time. I realized that I was already enough, but I just didn't know how to genuinely be myself, remove the barriers, and just talk. And something that has made me laugh for the past few years, coaching other people, most of our fears, they boil down to a fear of chatting to people. That's the biggest fear, a fear of chatting to people. But while talking to others can sound simple, there can be so much going on and so many possible situations that I understand why people are afraid of talking to people. It's what it represents. What if this person that I'm speaking to has a negative opinion of me and they express that, they insult me, they attack me in some way? How would that make me feel? What emotions would that bring up in me? Maybe I'd feel really, really hurt. Maybe I'd feel angry. Maybe I wouldn't know how to deal with that situation. What if someone else's judgment or something that they say, it changes one of my beliefs about the world? What if I have a fragile belief and someone else says something that changes that belief, and that changes how I am, how I see the world, how I interact with other people? What if I get rejected? What if I do something stupid? There's so many fears that get in the way. But what's amazing is that when you're around good people, let's say you have some really close friends or some really close family members, you're automatically confident and relaxed around these people. So when it's a good person and you've become familiar with that person, over time, your guard gets let down. You naturally connect, you're naturally confident, and you have an easy time. You're not afraid of chatting to that person. And really, the process you've gone through to get confident with that person, it's no different than the process that you have to go through to get confident with all people. It's just that that person, they might be friendlier than the average person. They might be a kinder person, but the process is still the same. So how do you feel around this person that you're comfortable with? Maybe you feel safe. Maybe you feel welcome, you don't feel judged. Maybe you feel that you have some shared interests, whether it's humor, sports, films, there's something in common. And if you can really work out what helps you feel comfortable with this person, you can do the same thing with other people. It's the same process, proving to yourself that you're safe around other people. You can be yourself and you can handle it. And of course, you can't get on with everybody because everyone's different. Everyone's on a different journey, different beliefs. So it's normal to have some people who you connect with well and some people where there's a natural clash. And the way that I see this, quite a geeky way of seeing it, but this is my way of viewing it. So there's a Venn diagram. You know those circles that overlap, and your Venn diagram. This is what's true to you and what you connect with. The other Venn diagram. This is what is relatable for the other person. What's true for that other person. And the place where the two circles overlap, coordination's quite challenging there. The places where the two circle overlap, and this is the sweet spot. And this means that if you can speak in this sweet spot, so what you're saying is common ground for both you and the other person, then you're going to be connecting. And that's the place you want to be in. It's genuinely interesting for you, and it's genuinely interesting for the other person. And over time, this sweet spot, this overlap, this can expand until you can connect on a wide variety of different topics. With some people, the circles, they barely overlap. And maybe they have their defenses, they have an attitude problem, they're pretty closed off, they're a bit aloof, and they're not really willing to express themselves and to be open. And if someone is not willing to be open and express themselves, it's very, very, very hard to connect with that person. It takes two people to connect. And that's actually helpful to know. The responsibility, it's not just on your shoulders, it's also on the other person's. And this means that if you don't connect with somebody, it's not a bad thing. It's how you interpret it. So people with high levels of social anxiety, there's nothing wrong with them on a core human level. It's just that they're not really connecting with other people. And it takes a lot of bravery to connect with other people. You have to actually be yourself. This means that there's a level of vulnerability there. You're just a human. You're not a superhero. You're not some kind of special mutant. Skin and bones. So this means that true self-confidence, this is believing that you're enough as you are, and it's actually letting go of those barriers, the barriers that you're putting up, which are stopping you from connecting with others. What really helps? So treat the other person like you've known them for a long time and you're already comfortable and relaxed. This helps out. And what this does is it replicates the situations where you're with others that you're already close to. So the phrase for this that I've heard that I quite like is assume familiarity. Something else that you can do which works well for me, works well for my clients as well. This is to call out things that are bothering you and things which are stopping you from being present and connecting with that person. Maybe you're stressed out about your job. Maybe you're going to get made redundant and you're scared about finding something new. Maybe you've been through a recent breakup and that's brought up some painful emotions, and maybe you've lost somebody. Maybe you're going through a health challenge. So much can be happening. And if these things are really bothering you and they're in the way, they're stopping you from connecting with the other person, a great step is to call those things out. And when you call them out, you don't have to do it in such a way where it burdens the other person. Right? So, for example, we'll take job stress. We'll take that as the example. So, there's two ways you can talk about your job stress. You can not take responsibility and burden the other person. That's one option. The second option is that you take full responsibility, so you're not burdening the other person at all. And I'll show you what these two different options look like. So the first one, man, I'm so stressed out with my job right now. Getting made redundant. I don't know what to do. I feel lost. That's the first way. Probably feels quite heavy. It feels like they're dumping their pain onto you, and it's not pleasant to be around. Second option, which is honesty with responsibility. This is saying that right now I'm going through some job stress because of redundancies. I'm in the process of changing, but I know that I'm going to find a better job and it's going to be a blessing in disguise. Anyway, how are you doing? So you still call it out, but you take complete responsibility. You're not dumping it on other people. You're like, I am going through these challenges, but I've got this. I know I'm going to be fine. So what about you? You're moving on and including the other person. So calling out what's bothering you, this can really help you to connect with other people because you're more present. Another tip is to allow other people to see that you're afraid. You're a human being, and it's not true that feeling fear is cowardly. It's the opposite. When you're feeling fear, you're actually being brave. When you're allowing other people to see that you're afraid and nervous, you're also being brave. It's much less brave to hide your fear and to think you can't let other people see this. And I'm talking generally. So in general, letting other people see your fears and judge your fears, that takes the pressure off you. Because it's okay to feel afraid. Doesn't harm you, doesn't damage you. I'm not talking about creating fears, making yourself scared of things. But when you're genuinely afraid of something, welcome the fear, feel the fear. It's okay. And it's also okay to go further than that and let other people see that you're afraid in this moment right now. This helps to build confidence. Facing fears and being honest. 2 keys to growing in confidence. Fears close you down. They restrict you. And if you give too much power to social fears, you'll walk around closed off and you'll feel really stifled. You'll have anxiety. You'll struggle to speak to other people. You'll always feel shy. But facing your social fears, it dissolves that feeling of stifledness and anxiety. But you have to go through the process of feeling fear to get to the stage where you feel comfortable and you feel at peace. And I know this whole process so well, inside and out. Know it like the back of my hand, as the saying goes. Because, like I said earlier, I used to be borderline mute for a number of years. I had lots of social anxiety and I felt frozen around people in general, didn't trust people, didn't know how to talk. So if I can get to the stage where I'm genuinely comfortable doing public talks with 60 people there, running events, coaching other people, connecting with a whole bunch of different people, if I can make this transformation, then I know that you can as well. I'm going to tell you what else makes you feel confident. So as well as facing fears and honesty, it's understanding your own value. You're not worthless. There's so much value that you have in your locker and that you're able to provide in situations. This is something that I've really helped out a bunch of clients with, identifying their strengths, letting them see their strengths, because sometimes they don't believe me when I point out their strengths. But it becomes clear over time, and then play into these strengths. One of my strengths is listening. I'm really good at being present and listening. A similar strength is eye contact. I look every person that I speak to dead in the eyes. And it's not from a place of intimidation. It's not staring. There's empathy there and warmth. It's different. It's being open. So I look people in the eyes and I genuinely listen. I don't just think what to say next. I actually listen. So this is value. Other people, they feel connected and safe with the eye contact. They feel heard. They feel listened to. That's value. And because I'm genuinely listening and not thinking ahead, I'm truly improvising in the moment, which means that conversations are unique and they go in the direction that they're meant to go to. So they have a good energy, a good feeling to them, because they're not contrived and planned out, that they organically unfold. They're not driving the interaction. I'm not driving it either. We're just allowing it to naturally flow in the direction that it's best to flow in. So it's natural and not forced. What do other people want? They want to feel accepted. They want to feel that they can be themselves and have fun. So by accepting other people, listening, eye contact, being yourself, you're inspiring them to do the same. By having fun and actually enjoying yourself, you also add energy and you give other people permission to do the same. So putting yourself into social situations and understanding and recognizing where you're providing value naturally. This really helps out. This gives you confidence. This gives me confidence going into coaching sessions. I've got weapons to help out the other person. Listening skills, therapeutic listening skills, and empathy, combined with my natural optimism. This helps clients to open up and get things off their chest, which is really important if they have social anxiety, especially if they have nobody that they feel they can really connect with about these different topics and on this level. I have personal experience overcoming a variety of different challenges, and I've received a lot of coaching myself. So from that experience, I can teach them important social skills because I live and breathe this stuff. Boundaries with people, really, really important social skill. Starting conversations, continuing them, ending conversations, maintaining relationships, interpreting things differently so that you feel good. So I have confidence in my coaching because I'm aware of my own strengths and I'm aware of the process by which I help people. You can take this same teaching and apply it to yourself. It's not my teaching. It's life experience. Something else you can do is you can spend some time reflecting and come up with a few situations where you typically come alive. What situations bring you out of your shell? They make you feel turned on as a person, excited to be alive and passionate. What situations trigger this confidence in you? Reflecting on this will firstly, it'll remind yourself of the fact that the natural confidence is there. It's just about unlocking it. And also, it's great information because there's something about those situations that is enabling you to play to your natural strengths. So it's actually a clue and it's teaching you what your natural strengths are. Maybe whenever there's board games being played, you just come alive. Maybe when you're playing online video games, Call of Duty, Fortnite, not quite sure what the modern games are, BioShock, and you have your headphones on, your mouthpiece as well. You're speaking to your friends. Maybe in this situation, you come alive and you're the most confident person in the whole room. Maybe whenever it's a drama performance, you can take on the energy of the crowd and you vibe with this and you come out of your shell and the performance is really, really good and it has a great energy. So bouncing off the energy of other people, maybe this helps you to come alive. Understanding why these situations bring out your natural strengths is super important and super useful because this can help you to replicate the exact same thing in other situations where you currently struggle more and you don't feel as confident. You can revisit these situations, put yourself in the arena, but start to play to your strengths in these situations where you might currently be struggling, and you'll realize that when you're playing to your strengths, you can crush it in a lot more situations, many more situations that you might currently believe. Also, it's important to learn how to take pressure off yourself. Lots of employers, they say things like being calm under pressure is a really important trait or skill set. Thriving under pressure. But what I think is that no one thrives under pressure. What's really happening is that some people have a great ability to disassociate themselves from the situation, or in some other way take that pressure off. So no one's thriving under pressure. It's the fact that these people learn how to take that pressure off, because the pressure stops them from thriving. When they really take it on and let it burden them, then it stops them. Of course, on the flip side, when there's accountability and a positive pressure, so for example, you're doing a run and there's other people who are running at a nice fast pace, that's going to inspire you to perform at a higher level. So I view that as positive pressure, inspiration, and being held accountable to a high standard. That's different. Being held accountable to a high standard of performance is different from pressure being put on you. And of course, when there's necessity, you can find a way to get things done. But taking the pressure off, this is how you become under pressure. You learn how to not feel the pressure. And there's a lot of pressure that can come at you when you step into the entrepreneurial world. I jumped into full-time business some years ago, and there was times where I really felt the pressure. I could see my bank balance. I could see next month's rent around the corner. I couldn't see how I was supposed to make enough sales to pay the bills. I couldn't see how things would change, if they would change. I really didn't know. There was a lot of uncertainty, and I felt really, really under pressure at times. It felt like an internal fire had been lit, not a pleasant fire of passion, but burning going on with anxiety and stress, and it wouldn't go away. So I've experienced what it's like to be really under the pressure, changing my mindset, realizing that I'm safe no matter what, trusting in myself, trusting in life. If I go broke, I'll bounce back. I already did that, by the way, as well. I already went broke and bounced back some time ago, and got better as a result. It didn't break me. I was safe, I was fine. I learned how to take that pressure off myself and not feed it. This helped me to become more confident as well. And as I'm getting better, I take on more so that I can learn to take on less. So I take on more responsibility. And I learn how to take the pressure off myself and bring out my best performance. So building confidence, something that I mentioned in the description, which is completely true. Giving value, choosing to be a kind person that just puts value out there into the world. This is an amazing way to build confidence. So I'll tell you why. So putting out a lot of value into the world, it firstly means that you feel valued and appreciated, which is really nice. It's encouraging and it gets you past the victim complex. Another great thing with putting lots of value out into the world, it makes you feel popular. Because other people appreciate you, you're getting to know people on a personal level. It replicates the effect of someone that's popular in school, because people look up to you, people value you, people want to be around you. You have a good, uplifting, positive energy. Another way in which it helps you, you're leaving a trail of positivity behind you. Because you're helping out so many people, you're doing so much good stuff. You're building a security blanket of contacts and people that can help you out should you need help at a later point in life. So if you ever went through a rough patch in life, a time where you're struggling, you have an added layer of security in all these people who you've given a lot of value to. And in that trail of positivity that you've left behind, people come forwards and give you things back. Another great benefit is that it enables you to step outside of your own problems. So when I'm coaching, even if I was to be going through a big personal challenge, I've been through several personal challenges since starting coaching, but actually at the moment, I'm in a great place, mental health wise, have been for quite some time. So that's really, really good. But of course, I know what life can be like. I've been through some challenges in the past, and the future is always uncertain. But the great thing with coaching is, because it's giving value, you get to step outside of your problems, which means that you learn to take your problems less seriously. As my mentor used to say to me, it can be selfish to spend too much time indulging in your own problems. What about focusing on helping out other people with their problems? Why worry so much about your problems? And when you can learn to worry less about your own problems, you automatically feel better. And that's one of the secrets to beating depression, is taking your problems less seriously. The mind often creates problems when they're not really there. So stepping outside of your problems and being able to do that is a great strength. You can always revisit them at a future point when you've grown more and your perspective's changed. And you might revisit a problem in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, and realize that it's not even a problem. Maybe it never was a problem, but your perspective was the problem. And now it's changed. It feels different. So giving value to other people, to the world around you, in whatever way you do, probably through your career, but it could be through other activities in the community, outreach, just being a good person, whatever your way of doing this is, it creates this positive feedback loop. It centers you, balances you out, and it does help to build self-confidence. So to summarize and bring this together, so how do you build massive self-confidence? So the way that I've personally built a good level of self-confidence from having no self-confidence and still building confidence and helped out a lot of other people, is to face your fears of connecting with other people and living the life that you want to live. Genuinely being yourself. Asking the question, why am I behaving the way that I'm currently behaving? And if the answer is, it's because you don't think you're enough, stop doing that behavior. Change that behavior. If the answer is, you already think you're enough and you're giving to other people and you're loving it, then keep doing it. Other things that help, I'll go into until 1 hour, so got about 3 minutes left. Building a positive lifestyle. This works wonders for self-confidence and self-esteem. Joining a gym. If you take up cardio and you join a gym and do some strength training, it will increase your confidence. No doubt about it. Go to socials a couple of times a week. This will increase your confidence. Meditate. Keep your room tidy and your life organized. When you're feeling burnt out and you need to rest, listen to your body. Allow yourself to rest. If you build a positive routine with these key ingredients and you keep it up over a period of time, the momentum will make confidence just surge through your body. So much so that you'll have to then face your fear of not taking over in social situations, not speaking too much, but speaking less. And this is something that I focus on at my events. Let's not talk too much. Let's make sure that other people have a chance to share what they want to share. So really, it's all about being the best version of yourself and living your dream life. It takes a lot of confidence to do this. You might as well start building it now. If you're interested in coming down to one of my events to meet other people, reduce anxiety, build confidence, connecting, improve conversation skills, or you want to try a one-to-one coaching session, drop me an email and I'll be in touch with the relevant details. If you want to get notified when I do my live streams, so you can join in, ask questions, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, Enjoy the rest of your day.